Hello ladies and gentlemen, Rosie here, and I play Dead by Daylight, so you don't have to. I want to know which content creator you all think has lost their mind the most. That's my opening question going into this particular pile of vomit. Because, I could attack anybody. I could attack Raging Ryuga, Dowsy, of course Scoot. Like, the fact of the matter is I don't have time to attack every bad take on MMR. So, the king of bad takes on MMR, of course, is Scoot. The man's absolutely lost his mind. I don't know what game he's playing, and I don't know what system he's playing, but this right here has been the worst 3 minutes of analysis that I think I've heard in the past year. But that's Scoot for you. He tends to break his own records an awful lot. Let's go into it, bruh. Let's hear why the ranking system is unironically better than MMR.
Hey, Scott here, just a little quick video today. I want to go over my thoughts on how I think that the grade system is now, ironically, a better indicator of skill than the MMR system used to impart who is more skillful at the game. So it used to be the whole thing that rank didn't matter, which was pretty true, because it was a very inaccurate determination of skill. But at the very least, it attempted to kind of understand what needs to happen in a match for a survivor to be good. So
what needs to happen for a quote-unquote survivor to be good? Okay, here's the problem. Okay, we can go into why the ranking system was bad, like, all day. Like, that, why the ranking system it was bad, I fully believe is a 2-hour video. Like, you can't capture every single problem with that system in the amount of time that I can actually devote to it right now. From the fact that gens are supposed to fall, like that's something the devs acknowledge, so survivors just get free points for existing, because if gens are supposed to, like, go, right? For the killer being promoted to make bad decisions that don't actually help them win the game, so the game wants you to go fucking play your character wrong for you to go and like, provide a fun experience, and that's how you rank up. The ranking system is just garbage by all stretches of the imagination. The hatch being able to go in there and help you rank up. And then, of course, the idea of the safety pit promoting losers to continue to go up. And like, there are so many reasons why the ranking system is devoted to making your game shit. That's what the entire thing was. That's why it had to go. It couldn't be amended. And again, that's just briefly brazing over every single problem. Like, again, the ranking system being bad is a 2-hour video. Like, you have to go through each killer, you have to go through the survivor role in and of itself, why Swift was punished for winning by playing efficiently. On both sides, and at a meta of Dead by Daylight, the ranking system did not go with the meta. The ranking system did not mesh with the way that the game is played at top level, okay? Of course, I don't think this man knows anything about top level, but the point is that if you analyze top-level Dead by Daylight, that system had to fucking go. Okay? Absolutely had to fucking go. Too many issues with it. It was unrepairable. It had to go bye-bye. So, well, yeah, sure. Why is that better than MMR?
you couldn't just sit in a corner and escape. That wouldn't count you as
You couldn't just sit in a corner and escape. Okay? So, let's understand that real fast. Let's sit in a corner and escape. Okay, well, if you're sitting in a corner and escaping in the new MMR system, how are you realistically doing that against a good killer? Pretend you're gonna play, pretend you're playing like a Bubba and you're sitting in the corner. How are you escaping against a realistically good killer? If every survivor devotes themselves to sitting in the corner, how are they getting out? Are the three teammates doing all the work? Is that how it's happening? That could happen in the Emblem system too, except the only reason it never did was because the Emblem system was devoted to putting pieces of shit in your game. So, but pretend you're a solo queue who got dropped in with the 3-man. You could sit in the corner and still fucking do nothing and get out. Okay, so if you are sitting in the corner and still getting out realistically at high MMR, you have to be at high MMR. Did you somehow get there in a system that doesn't punish killers for playing optimally? Like, how did you get to high MMR? How are you replicating that consistently? That's not happening. Someone that is sitting in the corner is likely losing more of their matches than they are winning. Okay? you know what? I even think that is applicable to the old system too. There is no system in Dead by Daylight that is going to reward a survivor sitting in the corner, unless they have a 3-man Swift already in the game with them. In which case, that's something else.
And you would not pip up from that, for example, as a survivor. Conversely, as a
You
killer,
would not
can't
pip up
just
from
face
that.
camp it attempted to kind of understand what needs to happen in a match for a survivor to be good. So, like, you couldn't just sit in a corner and escape. That wouldn't count you as a win. You would not pip up from that, for example, as a survivor.
You wouldn't pip up from that. Yes, but that had so many other fucking downsides. Because, like, you have to do this, you have to do that. This game moves very, very, very quickly. I think that's something that's still just lost on these imbeciles. The game moves very, 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 very quickly. You cannot realistically hope to do everything that the old ranking system expected you to do. Like, what is defined as sitting around standing in a corner by this guy? Like, realistically. Like, if you get like 10,000 blood points and your teammates get like, 15 to 18,000, but you happen to get the least. Like, does that mean you were sitting around standing in a corner the entire time? No, it could have mean you popped a gen, and then maybe we're just doing actions that did not get the most blood points, such as, like, being stealthy, wasting the killer's time while the other 3 hit the map. Really, maybe some chases. The killer chased you, left, came back. Like, there's a lot of situations where you could still be doing skillful elements in the game, but not advancing your emblems at all, because the emblem system was bad. You're not doing any actions that advance blood points, emblems, etc. Like, the killer's lured to you, but you're technically not in a chase. Shit like that. That the emblem system didn't even fucking try to measure, because it was a piece of shit. Stuff like that is actually being taken into consideration by MMR, because you're getting out. It's measuring the fact that you're getting out. So so that quote unquote just standing in a corner doing nothing. That would be defined by standing in a corner doing nothing by the old system is being taken into more of an account by the actual MMR system. So that's another grain of worms right there, sitting around standing in a corner. And at what high, again, I'm gonna ask this again, at what high MMR matches is that happening at? Like, at what high MMR matches are you standing around in a corner? Like, is the game so unbalanced that 3-man Swifts can beat the killer while the last guy stands around in a corner consistently? Is that how unbalanced the game is? Because if that's how you're doing it, then, oh my god, the problem is not MMR, holy fuck, it's the bad balance. Like, I don't get that. Like, I think that's a huge oversimplification.
Conversely, as a killer, you can't just face camp 2 people to dead and consider that a win as well. You would
face camp 2 people to dead. First of all, that's not a sentence. Second of all, you can't just face camp 2 people to death. I don't think you understand. I don't think he knows how to properly face camp somebody. Like, I really don't. Like, okay. First of all, face camping, quote unquote, face camping, is only done if your name is Bubba, like true actual face camping. Bubba, I guess Billy can kind of do it. Maybe Artist, Huntress, Trickster. You have to be character dependency. Oni can do it if he's in his power. Actual face camping is a character dependent technique. Okay? And this is something that MMR is allowing to happen. The characters that are better at face camping can now have more of a success with it. You don't have to balance Trickster in chase and as map pressure as much, because he has more of a defensive-oriented section off the map, snowball through your hooks playstyle. That's how you fucking play him. The ranking system forced every single killer to play the exact same way because lol, fun! The MMR system encourages you as a killer player to look at your individual killer and see how they play. How are they best equipped to deal with the concept of 4-man Swift? And it's telling you to do it. Okay? It's not shackling you to what the game wants and what would be the most fun, because again, the emblem system was poorly designed. It wasn't looking at individual characters. So now, if you're playing as Plague, you can either go out or you can come back. You can bait them in with your corrupt purge, and the game won't punish you for doing so. This is positive. This is good. The fact that the killers are allowed to do this means we don't have to fucking nerf Survivor as much as we would have to if we were doing emblem system-based balancing. Okay? Because now the killers have access to this more effective technique. By the way, the fact that face camping and proxy camping are proving themselves to be effective techniques, again, is a problem with their balance. If the killer was strong enough to be able to go out and not do that, a lot of the times they wouldn't do it. Okay? A reason why a trickster has to do that is because a trickster can't hit the map effectively. The reason why a Bubba has to do that is because Bubba can't hit the map effectively to effectively deal with 4-man SWIP. So it's better to bait the guy in and then chainsaw him, and then look at that, 2 people are down. You understand? Why can't Myers do it? Same exact fucking reason. If you want to make 115 viable enough to actually go out and chase people, I have a feeling these killers will be more inclined to actually punish the survivors that are not by the hook. They can actually go out and slow down the objective completion. Okay? But we have a meta right now that's not happening. Okay? And that's what MMR is exposing. As before, what would happen was, since everyone could play however the fuck they wanted, most killers would have enough time to actually go out and do that because anybody could get in your fucking matches, okay? But anybody cannot get in your fucking matches anymore, okay? That's the biggest fucking difference. You have to actually use your brain and play your character right. So, that's not the problem. The problem continues to be bad balancing.
Early pip, if even that. So, it was not a good system, but it was better than the MMR system, which only takes kills and escapes into account. That's all the MMR system does. So, although the old grade or rank system...
First of all, we don't even know if that's necessarily true, okay? We do know that the survivors go up and go down based on the order that they're killed. First of all, he's got this backwards. It's not that the MMR system is perfect. There's definitely ways it can be improved, specifically on the survivor ends. Again, we should just be nicking Identity V's word for fucking word. I don't know how NetEase hasn't given the A-OK on that one yet. But the game is conducted as 4 separate 1v1s. If you tie as killer, it is still possible that your MMR is going down. Because if you kill the 2 people you're expected to, like, kill... How can I phrase this? If you kill the 2 people, like, when a survivor gets out, you as the killer are losing a certain amount of MMR, okay? And when the survivor is killed, you're gaining a certain amount of MMR, okay? So it's possible that even when you tie, you're still net gaining or net losing MMR based on that explanation that the devs gave us. So we don't even know if it's just flat 2 kills save you type of thing from going up or down. Okay, if you get 3Ks, you're likely going up, and that's just encouraging you to play your character right. Okay? It's encouraging you to make the best possible decision for your fucking character. Is Blight going to face camp the hook? Yeah, probably not. Is Freddy going to face camp the hook? Yeah, probably not. Same fucking shield. Same fucking deal there, bozo. It's character specific. Do what is netting you the result that you need. Okay? The result that you need is the kills and the escapes. Yes, that's the game's win condition. McLean stated as much in the interview. Yes, welcome. He is still looking at the game from lol, the win condition is not defined, bro. The win condition is defined as the kills and the escapes. And if again, we already tackled that interview. The reason that the hooks were mentioned at all in that interview is if the killer's getting a certain amount of hooks and still losing, they can just note off as the player made mistakes. That's the reason the hooks are even mentioned in that interview at all. So now that we have an objective win condition, this argument is over. We have to balance the game based around what the fucking win condition is, which is the kills and the escapes. Sorry! This is something we've all been saying for a while about what the fucking win condition is. And everyone with a brain was saying, yeah, that's the win condition, bro. If anything, you should be happy. Because that caps the way that caps the power level of the fucking killers. Okay? It caps it to a certain degree.
Was pretty bad, and at least tried. It made an effort to kind of understand the things that go on a match that are somewhat skillful, right? And MMR just doesn't do that at all.
So in order to agree with that, you have to give him a false assumption that escaping and killing people mean nothing. And that's false. That is completely, absolutely 100% false. Okay? If you're escaping, okay, There's a certain amount of things that were done right. And yes, if 3 survivors escape, every single survivor's MMR should go up. Absolutely 100%. If 3 escapes are happening. And if 3 survivors are dying, every survivor's MMR should go down. Absolutely, 100%. Except maybe you could work in a defeat protection system that Identity 5 uses. That could then work in the specifics of the game. Maybe. Again, we should just be using Identity 5's MMR system. Because Identity 5's MMR system offers some of that defeat protection in. But, all in all, if you think that the result of the game doesn't mean anything, you're fucking stupid. Of course the result of the game means something. Okay? The ranking system didn't factor the result in. Like, at all. It didn't care. It just was looking at the feats you achieved in the game. Okay? That led to some stupid shit where on certain characters could play the system better than other. Plague was notoriously bad at the ranking system, while Legion was great. If you were to make a tier list based on the rank-based win condition, Legion's like a fucking A tier, and Plague is a fucking F tier. Still, even with her buffs. Leatherface is like a fucking D tier. The tier list looks retarded if you do that, because that was never the win condition of Dead by Daylight. You understand? The kills and the escapes are the win condition. That's the thing that makes the tier list look normal, because that's what we're all basing it off of. Any tier list based on the actual emblem system looks ridiculous. Completely 100% ridiculous. While if you tier it based off of the kills and the escapes, the tier list looks way less bad, and it looks way more accurate based on... In fact, it's probably just the fucking tier list. Because, whoa, bro. What, like, it's the fucking tier list. Who can effectively get more kills and escapes than the other characters? I don't know, bro. Who knows? Who knows? So, like, I'm sorry, bro. I don't care. Look at other fucking games, dude. Does a again, this is very clearly based off of like something like a fighting game. In a fighting game, do you get fucking MMR based off of how well you played? Oh, you took a stock, so your MMR doesn't go down as much. Oh, you got the game 3. Your MMR doesn't go down as much. No, of course not. In Clash Royale, do you fucking get fucking less points taken away because of how well you do? I think it's set up to where, kind of like Dead by Daylight, where you'll lose less if the guy's better than you. I think that's how Godzilla is as well. These MMR systems don't reward you jack shit for what happens in the game. Get the fucking result. Get the fucking result, dude. And you, like, expecting to be rewarded for losing is entitlement. You don't just get rewarded. Like, I don't know why this community thinks they're entitled to, like, get rewarded for anything. If you lost, your MMR goes down. Sorry? I don't know why that, in Dead by Daylight, that's such a hard concept to accept. If you lose, your MMR goes down. If you win, it goes up. Why is that so hard to accept? I don't get it.
I actually unironically think that we've come full circle and that ranks are now a better indicator of skill than MMR again. And
again, he really hasn't explained anything. He's just on his whole, oh lol, MMR sucks, bro. MMR's trash. He hasn't really explained, like, why doing things in the game is somehow better than actually obtaining a result of getting kills or escapes. Like, he hasn't explained that. And he hasn't explained it because he knows it makes no fucking sense.
I'm not saying that either of them are good. We're comparing a pile of shit to a bigger pile of shit. They're both really bad indicators, but I think it's a fair statement.
MMR is not a pile of shit. MMR is below average, okay? The current system in the game, and it's very telling that a below average system is kicking every killer player in the ass. Like, it's very telling that it is.
To say that grades are a better indicator of skill now than MMR. And I've seen this firsthand. Like, typically, like, a week after a rank resets every month, or grade resets every month now. If you have a lobby full of iridescents, it at the very least means they play the game a lot. And obviously that doesn't mean they're good at the game at all.
What was that play?
I've seen this firsthand. Like, typically,
what was he trying to do
there?
there?
A rank resets every month, or grade resets every month now. If you have a lobby full of iridescents,
what?
It at the very least
Artist
means they
is janky.
play the game a lot. And obviously that doesn't mean they're good at the game at all. But it's still a better indicator than MMR that they might be good at the game.
No,
and
I completely disagree with that. Completely. And he hasn't provided any evidence, so I don't have to provide any counter evidence. It's just not.
That's really the only argument I'm trying to make. I'm trying not to say that the old grading system was good or anything. I'm just saying it's better than the shit that is MMR. And we all saw this coming. Everyone knew this was going to happen with MMR, and they still did it. But
No, not everyone saw that coming, like, at all. If anything, a lot of killers are struggling right now.
that's the situation we're in now. And I assure you, MMR does not work. I'm sure you've seen the same thing too. Go to anyone streaming this game, you can see the exact same thing.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Raging Ryuga was talking about how every game's a sweatfest. Dowsy's had enough of this game. They're complaining every game's a sweatfest. Like, what do you, like, I don't know. I don't know what, is there, if there's some kind of separation between you and the rest of the community? Like, have you even been analyzing what's been going on? I see it in my Discord every day. People people fucking post Raging Ryuga's fucking insane memes. J-Man, former competitive player, competitive analyzer, says every game's like fucking comp. Like,
I don't understand why people on forums and stuff will say, my games at high MMR have been so much harder. It's still the same random bullshit that happened at old rank 1.
I don't think he's at high MMR. I think that's what I'm getting from this here. Let me explain something to you. My losses have not risen, okay? What has risen for me are my ties. That has been my experience with high MMR. My ties have gone up. Because I take my killers, because I like to play the bad characters, I take the limited pressure of my characters and convert them into downs, section off the map for as long as possible, most likely get 2 kills. That's what has gone up for me. My loss record has gone up a little bit, nothing too extraordinary, but most of my games are wins and ties. Now, that is my experience, as someone who is probably not at the highest MMR due to my limited time of playing. Okay, that is about where I'm at. I'm probably mid-high. That's probably my guess, with the amount of time I can get in and seeing the records that I'm getting. Lots of wins and ties and losses. That is still objectively harder than what the ranking system was. I cannot steamroll drunk anymore. That is what I was able to do on the ranking system.
Completely random. Like, from this stream in the B-roll, I had some extremely
from that
good
stream
survivors.
right there. So the artist who probably dropped in at low MMR, so everything's kind of inconsistent.
2 games of very, very good survivors.
Yeah, with the new character.
One of them, and I got destroyed in another one of them. And then, like, the next
And
game,
then I'm sure when you got destroyed, your MMR sunk, like, a lot. So, like, I kind of noticed that as well. When you kind of get fucked, unless you're at super high MMR, kind of like my Legion was, like, you could go in there and just, like, play kind of decent players enough to exploit the balance, and then you'll play babies, because you were kind of at this mid-high MMR where they were good enough to exploit the balance, you were a bad character, and you get kind of sent down to play some babies. That kind of happens. Or if you're my Legion, you play fucking 5 Swifts in a row.
Have literal babies that were just, like, urban evading in corners and just letting people die on first hook. They had no idea what they're doing. And then I'd go back to, like, a pretty decent team, and then babies, and then gods, and then it's just all over the place.
That's his perception, okay? I'm sure the players that he's playing against are not nearly as good or bad as he's making out to be. When they were quote-unquote gods, I'm sure they were just players that were kind of good enough to exploit the balance. Scoot's probably playing artist, so he's not very good with her yet, and then he lost. Like, gods. Like, I don't think he played any gods. I think he played players good enough to exploit the balance. Okay, like, it all just goes off of how much you trust his analysis, and I trust I trust a dead rabbit's analysis more than this guy's. Like, I'm sure he is exaggerating both over and under to prove his point, okay? He is taking what was there and stretching it to better fit what the ranking system was, okay? That's what's really going on. When your MMR is stable, what you're doing is you're playing, you're consistently fighting for ties. Like, you're not getting crushed every game, but at the same time, you're putting in an extreme amount of effort to get 2 or 3 kills as killer. That has been my actual experience, okay? It's hard, and it's actually kind of hard, okay? If you are analyzing what's in front of you, it is objectively harder than it was before, okay? That's why killers are quitting. Like, there are a lot of killers that are taking breaks and quitting. and I don't think you can write off all of that as simply, well, it's the same,
It
bro.
is as useless
It's
as the
as
old
useless
ranked
as
system,
the old rank
where
system,
rank 1 can be
where rank 1 can be
anything.
basically anything.
So,
You can't do that. With the amount of killers that have quitting in the purge that's taking place, and the amount of people that have said MMR has ruined the game, and the amount of prominent streamers that have said MMR has ruined the game because every game is a sweat fest, I do not think you can use your experiences to justify everybody else's. No, I think that's disrespectful to the community and not a fair analysis of what's actually taking place. Okay? And again, a lot of the content creators aren't as good as you make them as people made them out to be. Yeah, sure. But the fact that Ots can only get a 20 game streak now, again, I still think a 20 game streak in this subpar MMR is doable. Like, that kind of makes sense to me. It's not perfect. It's deliberately kind of flawed to make sure that the fun of the game isn't entirely destroyed. But since the game is just so unbalanced, it's kind of causing a killer purge anyway. Like 20 wins is probably around the maximum you could probably get, 20 to 25, somewhere in that range. That's what you could realistically hope to get from this new system. And I don't think you, my friend, are any better or worse than any of the rest of us. I think this is a very disrespectful analysis that ignores how bad the ranking system was, and just because I hate MMR, bro. I hate MMR. If it's just as bad as the ranking system, let's leave it. It's fine. Now, turning back to reality now, we only go up from here. If of course, if they just keep ignoring it like they did last patch, then we're not going anywhere. But if they just fucking listen to this, we can improve the game. We can make the proper balance adjustments, make the killers stronger, that will delete the number of face caps that are taking place, and encourage more killers to actually go out. Okay? But you have to do all this through changes. And lol, just revert it, bro. Get rid of it, bro. That doesn't fix the problem. Especially since we now know more about the meta now than we ever did before, and we know how ruthless camping can be against decent players. Like, it's the amount of data that we have gained. Meaning, I'm probably never going back to playing the way I used to play ever again, because I just know more about the game now because of this system. Ridiculous. It's too late for that. We have to now charge ahead, balance the game properly, and then these kinks will work themselves out later, once the balance is fixed. We have, say again, if we could just advocate for balance, like, every content creator should now be advocating for balance, if they gave any fucks. But no, that they don't give a fuck about you, or the balance, or game health, or anything. It's ridiculous. Alright, I'm getting the hell out of here. This video is a fucking joke. MMR obviously is better than the ranking system, and anyone who says otherwise is a complete waste of space. I'm getting the hell out of here. GG's.